Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Finland rally stage on BeamNG Drive. The vehicle we are going to be using today is a mod for the Covet. This is now four-wheel drive. It's got a sort of a wide body kit style thing going on. The engine, I believe, is still the same 1.5 that comes with a standard vehicle. However, this has a massive turbocharger. It's called an overkill turbocharger, and it makes it unbelievably fast. The camera decided to spin the wrong way around the car. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, this thing is ridiculously quick. Probably the fastest car I have driven on this game. The problem is the brakes are still, I think, the same as the standard car. It is safe to say this thing doesn't get stopped very well. And the first corner, I may have broken it and taken a wheel off. Yeah, this car is incredibly fast in a straight line. Accelerates like mad. Doesn't get stopped quite as well as I would have liked. The vehicle is still moving, it's still working. I wouldn't really say drivable though. This first corner is an absolute nightmare with this rally Covet. The big problem is we have another very, very big impact. This is a very long straight, and it's pretty much, you can pretty much just hold the trigger down and you will get some serious speed by the time you get to the bottom of the straight. And then you have to try and get the braking point right. Sorry, I can speak. And yeah, it is it is not easy. I thought I got it right that time. Apparently not. This car, it's an interesting one. It's a tough one to drive. This. Not only is there ridiculous speed, the handling is, as ever, when you start getting high speeds on this game, it all gets a little bit scary and a little bit tricky. This time I managed to get it wrong in the braking zone before I ever got to the corner, and yeah, I don't quite know how that one works. I was going sideways, I just about got it stopped and turned, and then we just had loads and loads and loads of understeer. There is lots of understeer. This is a really understeery car at low speeds, and at high speeds it's very slidey. That was far too high a speed for the blooming corner, and we wrapped it around a tree and got it sunk in the water. Yeah, this first corner, it took me a while to get the hang of where to brake with this car. It took me a few attempts. We got around the first corner and then promptly had a crash before we even get into the next one. I'm not even sure what I hit there. I guess there was some sort of rock, or maybe it was the bush, I don't know. Clipped something, and yeah, that broke the back wheel, and now I've managed to wedge it in a ditch, which, no, we're not going to get out of that one. It wasn't just the first corner that was problematic. Further around, this bit was an interesting one. As I said, this car is pretty tricky to drive, pretty understeery at low speeds, fairly slidey at high speeds, and that sort of chicane bit is, yeah, not particularly friendly to the Covet. This is probably the hardest car I've had to drive in a game for a long, long time. I thought things were going so well, I just ran a tiny bit wider. I couldn't get the car turned quite through that corner and just clipped the bumper on the tree, and that sent me spiralling into yet some more water. The hairpin was pretty challenging. I kind of ended up sort of throwing the car and sliding it through. If you got it right, it worked and it looks quite spectacular. If you get it wrong, it's not very good. This attempt managed to kill the engine, or the driveline, sorry, not the engine. The engine is still here going. Trying to be a little bit too greedy, and yeah, didn't quite intend to cut sort of the dip there that much, and when I did, just took out the engine. Yeah, there were problems, there were difficulties with this car, as just couldn't get it turned for this corner. I think I crashed on pretty much every available section on here. I just found a lot of problems. I can't really explain. There'll be a link in the description so you can download this car and have a go with it yourself. It is absolutely insane. I was getting things wrong again through the sort of fast chicane. Managed to somehow hold it together, and then we couldn't quite get turned. Had to resort to a little bit of power, and then we fell off the road into another ditch, and we're bouncing along, and no, that's on its roof and landed. Yeah, this is a weird handling car. It's tough to drive, but it's kind of exciting in the same way because it is so very fast. Again, got things a bit wrong. I say a bit wrong, that's a massive lot wrong. The car is utterly destroyed. I was trying to do little movements and it wasn't working quite enough, and got it sort of caught on the edge of the road, and that dragged it into the water. Again, going into the first corner. I thought I got the hang of it, not this time. I've managed to deform the car in a rather bizarre way. That's really rather broken. It's still functioning as a vehicle. It will still kind of go forwards, but yeah, I've done some some strange damage to this Covet. It really is rather broken. I thought this was going to be the one. I thought I was going to make it all the way to the end, and then I just couldn't keep it under control. Bumped the back of it on some rocks. We were still going, so I thought, well, I'm here, I might as well cross the blooming line. Had some issues, some more with the ditches. I crossed the line after clattering the building, took a wheel off. I had technically made it, although the final sort of 20 seconds of that run were not exactly good, as yeah, then that hadn't quite gone to plan. There was still all sorts of difficulties with this car. Again, just ran a little bit wide, and just from doing that I could not regain control of it, and then we're going to sail into a tree upside down. It was so easy to make a mistake. You had to be just a millimetre wrong with this vehicle and you would be in a tree, or you'd be upside down in the water. The fast corners were some of the most terrifying bits. The lack of grip, I thought I might have got away with that one, sliding it past the tree again, just clipped the back of the car. And yeah, again, it's another case. The car will still run. I was surprised how well the driveline was surviving all of this. I very rarely killed the driveline on here. Again, the fast section through here, and oh, that's a big crash. That's a really big crash. I just could not get the car to stop oversteering. Amazingly, the car's still blooming working. I thought I'd go for a drive with it, with the back wheel at the most stupid of angles. Turns out that's not particularly drivable anymore. It is very easy to get it to oversteer some more. Yeah, the Covet Rally was taking a bit of a battering. I was still getting stuck on this far chicane as well. Taking the shortcut is a bad idea because there is a very large concealed dip, and we're going to do a double front flip and land, not quite, land on the roof. Yeah, you don't want to be taking any shortcuts on this track. You really can't cut any of the corners, as there are just hidden ditches and very visible ditches through most of these places. So yeah, you can't really get away with that. There you go. There is a prime example. You really can't cut any of the corners. Even if you have an accident or if you've made a mistake and you're trying to avoid having a crash and you end up sort of across them, you're going to end up in rather a lot of trouble. This is probably one of the biggest crashes I've done on this Finland rally course. That's a pretty nasty one. Again, I was being a bit greedy trying to cut the corner. It was more of me just trying to keep control of the vehicle. Hit a bump and it flinged the car into the air, and yeah, it's wrapped around a tree. That was a pretty nasty crash. Again, just trying to put some power down in this vehicle. We've gone round in a circle, almost saved it, and then we ended up in a river. But yes, I did get a clean run eventually out of this vehicle. It took a while. It did take a while getting used to this car. As I said, go download this, go give it a go. It's scarily fast and scarily hard to control. Once you do manage to get it to do what you want it to do, it's it's quick, and you'll be very pleased with yourself having managed to control this absolutely ridiculous machine. The best method I found of cornering is because it is four-wheel drive. You can kind of chuck it into the corners. You'll see through here, I'm kind of chucking it into the corners, the slow-speed corners anyway, and it's kind of sliding it a little bit. That's the best way I could get it to cope with the low-speed understeer. The high-speed corners, though, are just utterly terrifying, and there is nothing you can do about it because you don't really want to be chucking it in sideways at really high speeds. That's where you have extra big accidents, as you have seen. Yeah, it was so easy just to slip up and make the tiniest of mistakes with this car. I should also point out this video was supposed to be out earlier. I've been having problems with my computer. I don't know what happened with the last rally video, why YouTube went all funny with this. I'm hoping this one here isn't the same. I'm hoping this one doesn't have a problem. I can't guarantee it because I don't know what it's doing. The videos are fine at my end. It's just when it uploads to YouTube, something goes wrong. On this run, I got a little bit sideways into that fast corner. Managed to control it though. And as we come up towards the finish line, I really didn't want to do something stupid on this roundabout. Braked nice and early. Actually clipped a little bit of the ditch there. I think I might have broken part of the suspension, but never mind. I pretty much just floored it to get past the sort of finish line. The front of the building is what I time it from, or time it to, I should say. And we parked it in a ditch again. I'm not having the most luck of once I've crossed the line. So far, I think everything I've driven that's crossed the line has ended up somehow in a ditch unintentionally. Well, there we go. The Covet Rally made it to the finish point. I wasn't sure if it would. It is a ridiculously mental car. It says the fastest time by quite a margin. However, it is by far the hardest vehicle to drive. It is incredibly fast. It has so much acceleration, and that is where a lot of that time is going to have come from. it is terrifying through the corners. The low speed corners, you've got understeer. The high speed corners, you've got oversteer. It's very slidey. It's exciting to drive though. It is it's a good fun car to drive, but yeah, it is rather terrifying. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys, so thank you very much for watching. If this video has worked, I hope it has. I hope all the render and everything is working on this one. Then there shall be some more Rally Finland stuff coming soon. If it hasn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I will have to keep experimenting with settings. Anyway, that is it for today, so thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.